Hello, hello, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, and happy Monday. This is our morning breakfast. Well, it is our morning breakfast of sorts. It's our morning broadcast live here on Facebook, Monday through Saturdays, available in the afternoon on YouTube, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, and our country. We take a look at each other's adventures, questions, ideas, suggestions, so that we can all learn from one another, connect with one another, and end up having a more meaningful life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. My name is Paco, but most of you already know that. In case you don't, feel free to let us know. If you are just joining us for the first time, you can do that by writing the word new in your comment. And if you have something truly important that you wish to bring up, just add the capital letter Q at the beginning of the comment, and we'll be so very happy to review it during the comment section at the end. So today we have not a lot of news, but I have an awesome show and tell, because I don't know about you, I had the most fantastic weekend with very dear friends. Got to visit a place I had only been to once before. Got to experience a completely new place that I'm so excited to show you today. Up in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, when you can have the most rustic, Mexican rustic type experience, authentic experience with drinking and eating and swimming and all the good stuff. So we are going to get started. Whose birthday? Oh, yes, of course. Yes, Sage has been talking about her birthday. Happy birthday, Sage. I forget the date, the specific date. Is it today? If it is today, well, happy birthday. If it is not today, happy birthday anyway. So let's get started with today's broadcast and get to the fun and good stuff. If you go out on the street thinking or feeling that there are more cars than there used to be out there, well, there are. In fact, the number of vehicles in our state, in the state of Jalisco, has increased by 221% between the years 2000 and 2021. More specifically, in the last 2 decades, we've gone from 1.3 million vehicles to 4.1 million vehicles in 2020 in all of the state. So although most of these vehicles are concentrated in Guadalajara's metropolitan area, the increase can definitely be felt also here in Puerto Vallarta. And this is why all these things that we have been discussing about new roads and accessibility and so forth and so on are so incredibly important. We also learned that President López Obrador took some time to visit the state of Yucatan to check out how the progress is going in the Maya train project, and particularly as the project advances through the state of Yucatan. As we've mentioned before, when the Maya train is finished, it will, and that'll happen hopefully within the next 2 years, it will connect by way of a loop or a circle of tracks, a circuit of tracks, will connect a number of cities and towns in several states within the Yucatan Peninsula to allow both freight trains and passenger trains to travel through them. And of course, we know this to be a very underdeveloped area, and a lot of environmentalists have been keeping a watchful eye to make sure that the environment is protected and respected. Now, if you look at the photograph that was attached to the news item, one would think and one would hope that this little line that is moving through it, this circular line, is part of the path of the train. And if you look at what's around it, all you can see is jungle. So I am going to guess that riding this train is going to be very exciting. As a tourist and as a passenger, once it is completed, this is going to very quickly be in my bucket list moving forward. And of course, the tropical depression we mentioned 2 days ago became Tropical Storm Kai, or K, I'm not sure. And after last night's rain, we woke up to a variety of reports from different areas of the city that ranged from falling trees in one place to floating cars in another, and flooded homes, unfortunately. But no casualties have been reported as of right now. Last night, there was a lot of rain here in town. And if you are here or you were here last night, I certainly hope that you are doing okay. I have a little bit of a water leak in my bathroom, but I've gotten used to that one, always coming back whenever it rains very hard. Tropical Storm Kai is expected to continue trailing the Pacific coastline as it heads towards Baja California, and is expected to become a Category 1 hurricane by tomorrow at 1 p.m. So let's see what our snarky weatherman has to say about all that. On Earth Dimension C-137, I am just a little robot whose sole purpose is passing the butter, says our snarky weather. Well, I'm glad that you are slightly more important here on our own Earth dimension, where it is now 27 degrees, feels like 33, humidity is high at 100%. Surprised? Not at all. With all that water evaporated on the surface, I don't expect anything different than that. And for those of you who get along with Fahrenheit, we are enjoying 80 degrees right now. Our forecast for today says rain and humidity through the day, as we can expect, with a high of 31 and a low of 26. Tomorrow, possible light rain in the evening and overnight with a high of 33 and a low of 26. And Wednesday will be humid and mostly cloudy through the day, with a high of 32 and a low of 24. Now, before we engage deeper into our weekend adventure, I want to revisit something that was brought up to our attention. I believe this was on Saturday when we got so rudely interrupted by Telmex stopping to work. And that was this expression that Luisa shared with us: ¿De qué lado mastica la iguana? Well, immediately I got all horny and I thought it had something to do with which way you tuck your penis in your underwear or whether you're gay or straight. But apparently I did some homework, and the phrase is used when you know or are aware of a situation that could go one way or the other, and you remain vigilant just to see how things will unfold. So it is common to say, well, I'd never heard it before, but you can say, vamos a ver de qué lado mastica la iguana, which essentially means let's wait and see which side the iguana choose, or how things unfold. That is the meaning of the expression. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I get curious about these things and I like to follow them through whenever Google has a good answer, and there you have it. Now, the reason why, for example, I couldn't upload the show notes and the broadcast to somebody Spice Luna. Is Luna around? I love it. Thank you for that report, Deb. when I was not able on Saturday to upload our broadcast to YouTube is because I had to piece it together from two pieces. And unfortunately for you, fortunately for me, my friends were going to pick me up at my doorstep right after the broadcast. So did not have time to do the necessary things to piece together the broadcast until yesterday afternoon when I came home. Yes, I had a sleepover at the mountains, courtesy of our dear friends Claude and Lucas, who live up in the in the Ejido El Jorullo, and I'm going to show you a little bit of where we went and what we did by way of maps and then by way of Google Earth. Let me start first by setting all these wonderful things up and doing this. Well, as you know, here is the Zona Romantica or Emiliano Zapata. Here is the Libramiento, and this is the road up the river that I like to walk, passing all these colonias, Colonia Paso del Molino, and then I usually like to get here to this general area where Moro Paraíso is located, and that's part of my usual walking experience. And we hang out. We hang out there and eat and then come back into the city. Well, my friends live a little further out. Let me switch this down to a zoom view that shows us indeed that there's a Libramiento and there is Moro Paraíso. Not further up from Moro Paraíso is Canopy River Park, which some of you may have visited. But if we zoom out in this map, we see that this is Libramiento, this is Moro Paraíso, and my friends live somewhere around here. And we ended up going all the way into the mountains to this ranch called Rancho Mi Abuelo, where, well, before I tell you what happened there, let me give you another view of this path that goes all the way here and then goes through the mountains through a little tiny road you wouldn't want to be by yourself in unless you're familiar with the terrain. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you this, and I hope you find it interesting. If you don't, just slap me. Let's see. Let's take a look at Google Earth. That's what I want to do. I want to show you the same surroundings on Google Earth because it's this kind of 3D-ish map which could be helpful for us to appreciate where we're going and where we're coming from. So here, right here, is the Libramiento where the new road has just been built next to the river. And this road comes down this way. And here is Colonia Buenos Aires, which, by the way, is going to have their patron saint day celebration later on this month. And we don't want to miss that because it's going to be a lot of fun. And this road, which is my usual weekend hike, follows the river. And if you see, as I move the map, you can see how there's this 3D effect that shows how there's mountains around the towns. This is Paso Ancho. This is where El Rio Barbecue is located. In fact, if you look at this huge, tall mountainside, that's what you look at when you are at El Rio. The road, of course, continues down this valley where the Rio Quale moves, and we continue further south, and this is the weekend walk, and then we get to this place, which is right here. This right here is Moro Paraíso. This is where I like to hang out. Now, interestingly enough, this map looks very dry, but let me tell you, there's nothing dry out there this time of the year. The mountains are just covered in green of all hues. So once you get to Moro Paraíso, you keep going down the road, and at this point of the road, right, am I there? Yes. At this point, right after Moro Paraíso, the road splits in two, right here, as a matter of fact, and the left fork goes up to El Canopy River. It goes up that way. But we went up this way. Here is where Villa Amaria is. This is a new option for a day place and a place to stay, and they have a swimming pool. And then the road we took up the mountains continues this way. And we kept going up the mountains. There's Canopy River Park up here, by the way. But we were coming down this way and then this way. And then the road crossed a number of water um, streams at some point or another. And here we are. We're coming down this road. And we're coming down this road over here. And we passed this other river. Here it was really beautiful because the water passes over the road. So I can imagine that when the current is really high, that's a no-go. And we continue down this way and this way and this way. And eventually we found ourselves at this place right here. This is Rancho Mi Abuelo. So that's where we went. What did we find there? Well, Rancho Mi Abuelo for many years was a gotcha park. And gotcha, for those of you that don't know, is that crazy diversion that younger people have in which they load toy guns with paint pellets and they pretend they're in war. Instead of shooting bullets at one another, they shoot paint. So this location was a gotcha park for a long time. But then it was repurposed to be, well, it continues to be a gotcha park, but it is now a small ranch where there's a restaurant, there's a bar, and because there are streams of water nearby going down this canyon here, which you can barely appreciate, they have very cleverly taken the water from the river and funneled it into swimming pools, and then the water gets funneled back into the river. How they maintain the pressure and the levels, that's a big mystery to me. But that's where we went on this wonderful ride through a jungle road. And now I want to show you a little bit of what we saw there. Where is it? It is right here. Okay, so we've reached Rancho Mi Abuelo with some dear friends. This is the first time that I've been here. And we're going to take a quick look at some of the areas that we can find. We've just descended from the parking lot. And as you see, there are several cars parked here. There's some guys that are getting ready to play gotcha. There's a bar up here. There's a restaurant back there. But first, we're going to go take a look at some of the swimming opportunities that you can find here. Hola, salud. So what I've been told is that water from the river is pumped into these swimming pools.
And there's a bunch of them.
As you can see, this is the Buenas tardes. This is the first section, the first swimming pool that we're looking at. We have just been sitting here enjoying welcome mimosas. And I'm going to catch up with our friends that are more familiar with what's going on here. And what the restaurant does, or what this facility does, is they take you around showing you what the different pools are. And then once you decide in which pool you want to hang out, you can get restaurant and bar service right at your pool area. Now, I have not seen these pool areas.
Oh yes, lush.
So I have no idea what we're going to encounter. But this is exciting. Again, this took about, well, as you know, we took a car ride from Libramiento, past Paso Ancho, past El Jorullo, and we're deep in the mountains.
And you can hear the river rustling in the background, hopefully.
And I am reaching another hangout area. I see some hammocks. I see some people just relaxed. This looks like this is probably a bar that is in service in busier times of the year. Buenas tardes. And there are some people hanging out here, but check it out. You come down here, and there are all the swimming opportunities.
Natural pools.
Here's Logan. Logan has found a pool for himself, and his outfit matches the water. And then there's a little tiny pool here. And there's another, buenas tardes. There's another pool down here that people are enjoying. And look at this black pipe is quite ingeniously, can you see it? It's quite ingeniously harvesting water from the river up there, and that water is then returned back to the river. And I can get closer to it and check out all the water that is coming down from the mountains. I see further up, there are some people that are enjoying themselves. And I think there may be are those other areas to sit down part of this?
No, that's just well, it's just water, some folks come down from the road to go and hang out in the river.
But so that structure over there?
That's independent, that's another homestead.
That's another homestead.
Yeah,
okay.
A little ranch.
So this is what's down here. This is so cute. Like one could actually just hang out. And the temperature of the water, how's the temperature of the water?
It's river water.
River water.
Yeah, it's nice now, but it is shocking.
Excellent. So I'm going to stop the camera for a second until we get ready to walk back to the restaurant area. Or should we just go look at the restaurant area now? Yeah.
Ooh, we saw.
Let's go.
We came, we saw, we enjoyed.
Sorry, Logan. There are other pools to conquer. So I'm going to slowly start walking the way I came and bring us back to the parking area. Now, today we happen to be very fortunate because even though we are surrounded by the forest canopy, it doesn't feel very humid and it is not very buggy. Can we predict the bugs? No. And I certainly would not want to be all the way up here on a particularly buggy day unless I had some bug spray or something to protect myself with. In terms of accessing things, the property has invested in these very comfortable paths. So if you find transportation to get all the way up here, and I'm sure that can be arranged.
Yes, it can.
You can really consider spending a day because there's food, there's alcohol, there's swimming pools, and all you want to make sure, at least this time of year, is to not get caught in the rain on the way down. But again, if you're relinquishing that responsibility to someone that knows how to drive in the mountain roads, then you're all set.
And I'll tell you how to make that connection in a second.
Okay. Now, ¿hacia dónde vamos? ¿Hacia allá?
Sí, yo voy.
Oh dear.
Sí.
I've been given another green mimosa.
Sí, sí. Sí, sí, sí. Mucho Eso es bueno por tú, ¿eh? Tú dices,
Okay, so I am now mimosa in hand. And I'm going to have a look.
Actually, I'm going to pause this for a second. This orange buggy, we call them safaris in Mexico. That orange vehicle is my friend's vehicle. So if you're wondering what kind of vehicle will get you there, if you want to go on your own, you want to ride an SUV, or you want to ride like a vehicle fit for the mountain. But again, if you're not familiar with the road, you're probably better. And so here is the place where you can enjoy. ¿Cómo está, jefe? Aquí presumiendo las bondades del destino. So there's all these tables where you can sit down. Some of them are already reserved. I imagine large families are going to come here and have fun. And there seems to be an area further down where you can find a place for children to enjoy themselves. And of course, there's this whole area where young ones play gotcha. You know, they chase after each other with guns that are loaded with paint pellets. That has never been my cup of tea. But it is all happening here at Rancho mi Abuelo. I'm going to sign off because I'm going to ask some questions about access and all kinds of things. But I hope you'll have a chance to visit this wonderful facility at some point. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. And since I have one here, I'm going to have to say, salud. Ciao.
And there you have it. That was El Rancho Mi Abuelo, and it was such an wonderful, rustic Mexican experience, so near Puerto Vallarta and yet so far. Now, you're probably curious about a number of things. I saw some comments fly by, and we are at our comment section. But before we get into general comments, I can tell you that my first concern about the place is, okay, how does a regular person like you and I get up here? And the easiest way to do it, at least for the first time, when you still don't know your way around, it is they have their own vehicle. And they have a special van that is half pickup truck. It's one of those vehicles that have been adapted. I think it has a capacity of 8 to 10 people. And they can pick you up. If you call ahead and you say, I have a group of these many people, they can pick you up. There's a kiosco in Colonia Buenos Aires, and that is where their pickup is. And so that's a very convenient place because it's not far from the Libramiento. They take you up there and they bring you back for not a lot of money. If it's just one person, they probably charge about 400 pesos each way, which is a lot of money. But if it's a group of 8 or 10 of your best friends, you know, then the price gets a lot lower. Once you get there, you can choose to just enjoy the restaurant, or you can choose to enjoy a swim. But the simple fact that you're going through the mountains, it was absolutely wonderful. And what Luis and the rest of his family have done up there is to create a totally beautiful and authentic place that everybody should check out. I'm going to leave their their Facebook page on the show notes. And the reason we didn't talk much about the road is because I actually filmed the whole car ride because my friend's vehicle is open. I was able to use the 360 camera and film the whole car ride in 2 sections, one going from Libramiento to their home on Saturday, and then on Sunday, one going from their home all the way up to the rancho. I haven't edited those, but those will be edited and hopefully ready by Wednesday. So instead of having Walking Wednesday, Logan said we were going to have Wednesday on wheels. That's what Logan called it. So we will get to see how long it actually takes to get there from Puerto Vallarta. So I will edit the ride and I will point out important or interesting places as we go. And that will hopefully happen Wednesday. But now let's take a look at everybody's comments. As always, it is a pleasure to read your good mornings. It is a pleasure to read your questions. So I'm just going to go through this. Bill, loving the microphones. Once again, the microphone, I was wearing one of the wireless and it was just absolutely wonderful. Thank you again for making us so fortunate to have better equipment to be able to tell our stories here at Coffee and Headlines. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, our dear friend Bill Bass kindly gifted us with a new set of microphones that we can use for interviews on the go and for walking tours. And there you have it. So more good mornings, and more good mornings. Oh my God, Catherine,
I hope you are enjoying your trip to Europe. I know that you were concerned about getting there safely and so forth and so on. I hope everything's going as you expected, and I hope you will come back to Puerto Vallarta with all kinds of great stories. Pum. Ryan is getting busy with his condo. We'll be back on Saturday. Good for you, Ryan. Let's see what else we have. Kathleen has booked a flight for November 7th, just in time to join Ladies Week at Casa Isabel for the first time in a few years. Well, I am a lady, but I haven't been invited. But I love Casa Isabel, and I'm sure that that is going to be a lot of fun. Uh-oh. Mary Jane is not happy. Yes, I read everything about Maria Montessori, the street that took forever to pave and where the excess water was supposed to be better handled. And I read that it got flooded again and worse than before. So I feel for you, and I hope you didn't have a lot of damages. Let's see what else we have. Pam. Daniel, I know we had tentatively talked about doing some walking tour yesterday, but now you understand why I was not even able to get in touch with you. I was out and about and kidnapped by my friends, but I hope you'll come back soon to the city. How long was the car ride from Libramiento? It was probably, I'd have to look at the videos because the videos were real time, and I could be wrong with this assessment, but I think it was probably 40 minutes because it was probably like 20 minutes to El Jorullo and then another 20 minutes going up the mountains. It's only 5 kilometers from El Jorullo. It's a walkable distance, but you have to go very slow because the road is a mountain road. Is the climate there different than in the city or similar? It was I felt the difference, David. It was cool. And and it was cool. And I'm saying this knowing that sometimes when you find yourself in those jungle canopies and the air is not moving, it can get very stifling. But we were very fortunate. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. That place is gorgeous, but you probably don't want to drink too much and walk that narrow path. Or that is correct. And you probably also don't want to be the designated driver. Yet another reason why it is probably to go the first time on their own vehicle. Mateo says, couldn't hear what the water temperature was. It was very, very manageable. It was like we didn't stay there to swim because we were swimming at another place later on in the afternoon where we're going to stop by Villa Amarillas, and we did. So we had our swim elsewhere. But had I known how beautiful this place was before we committed to going to Villa Amarillas for lunch, we would have stayed there. How are the roads? Are they rough? Yes, they are, Darlene. You really don't want to do this in your tiny little car. You want to do this in an all-terrain vehicle, or you want to be taken there by people that know the road. Although, there's boogie tours, those quad motorcycle tours that get up there. There's horseback rides that get you all the way up there. So there are other ways to get there. Biba, my dear Paul, who is not available on Sundays because he's doing beers, boris, and burgers at Hotel Mercurio. I tell you, Paul, if you haven't seen this place, we have to go. And your vehicle is perfect for it. And I know how to get there now. So, no, we should go up there someday. It was absolutely wonderful. Hermoso lugar, says Arturo. Arturo, we miss you. I hope things are good in Canada for you. But it was just a beautiful place. Thank you for promoting such a beautiful place. It is a pleasure, Michal, because it is these enterprises that are really, really worthwhile. The family that is running the place was really awesome. They are bilingual, and they're very, very eager to get people to see this beautiful place. Doesn't appear accessible for Kathy, but it was great fun seeing it all. Dan, if you can get Kathy in a vehicle, once you get there, you can very much enjoy the restaurant area without a problem. she may not, Kathy one may not be able to explore with a wheelchair going down to the pool area, but the restaurant is, I think, is really, really doable. Ryan says, really enjoyed that visit. Well, Ryan, it is my goal, as you know, to connect people with as many things that are perhaps not within the comfort zone or that are new, so that everybody can get a different taste of what Puerto Vallarta is all about. And this was definitely accomplished. Let's see. We are pretty much at the end of the broadcast and the comments. So we are done for the day. So my personal mission between today and Wednesday will be to edit the drive so that you can check it out and you can see how glorious the terrain was. It was just really beautiful. And of course, we're going to keep our eye open for this new tropical chingadera and see if it's going to bring us more rain. And of course, we start the week feeling very, very grateful for having had a little bit of time to charge batteries with my dear friends, our dear friends, Lucas and Claudio. So I hope you have a great start of the week. I'm going to get busy with all this editing that we have to do. And we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one.